Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning.
A podcast where we share with you great insights about everything family from over 30 years of parenting 7 kids and over a decade of equipping parents through our Crazy Cool Family ministry.
So let us inspire and equip you to build your best family.
Hello. We're coming to the end of the year.
Wrapping it up.
2025.
Yeah, what a year.
It's been a great year. We thought, so last podcast of the year, we take off the holidays and a little bit of January and jump back in 2026.
So this is our season finale.
That's right. And so we thought we'd just go back over a few things with you and share with you some news as well, just some things to kind of wrap up the year, wrap up our podcast season, as well as most of you know that we don't just do a podcast. The Crazy Cool Family is a ministry that reaches out to people this year all over the world. We'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute, but that we really, particularly all over the country and into Europe and even Australia, where we electronically, through the emails, through communications, we help you have a bigger vision for your family.
Right.
And we help you overcome the struggles and see God's way to connect with your family, to build culture in your home. And so we hope these podcasts, and we hope if you're getting any of our other communication, it's just been a real blessing to your family. Every family can win.
Well, okay, let's reminisce for just a second. How long have we been doing podcasts?
I think this is our 7th season.
So our 7th season, and we're at number like 325.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and so when we first started doing podcasts, you were so excited to do them, weren't you?
Yeah, and we
loved it. Don loves to hear his voice.
No, that's so tacky.
That's not tacky.
Yes, it
I
is.
think all radio people love to hear their voice.
No, I don't. It's not that. I just think it's a great medium and a lot of people love them. So
this is where we want to stop and say thank you so much for listening to us. And if you've been with us since the beginning, wow, you've grown up with us as we've grown with you. And if you're just now joining our podcast, welcome. We're so excited. We believe that you will be inspired, encouraged, and empowered when it comes to interacting with your children and your spouse, because that's our whole goal. That's what we want to do. We just want to share with you the gift that God has given us, which is family. And we want you to have the best family that you can have.
Yeah, and every year we try to do some things a little different so we don't get stale. And so we were thinking about that. What did we do differently this year that, particularly in the podcast, because that's who's listening, is the people that listen to the podcast. And so, but one of the things we did is we were looking, and we want to alert you to some things, maybe to go back and listen to. Some people listen to, we love that they listen to every episode, and they're always telling us, hey, I love that last episode or whatever. Fans. And they are and they are just podcast people.
We want to send you $1 million. Give us your address.
That's right.
Just kidding.
But sometimes we don't listen. You just kind of pick the topics. And so this year we introduced something new. We call it, How Do You Crazy Cool Parent That?
Yeah. And so we're talking about the kid to kid relationship line. And so what the parent, the parent to kid, that's what, and the kid to kid. I guess we did some sibling ones as well. But yes, exactly. I love that topic. How do you crazy cool parent that?
Yeah. And it was really designed to get, one of the things we're finding is parents, and we're look for things coming up, and we'll show you how to get connected with us that we're going to looking more to do it. Parents want answers to issues. This is going on with my kid? How do I solve it? And what are some techniques I can do? What are some strategies I can do? Because sometimes a lot of parents are overwhelmed and they don't know where to go with things. And so we introduced How Do You Crazy Cool Parent That? I mean, there's so many good lessons to look at, so many good episodes. Number 288 was Building a Confident Kid. Number 301 was raising a servant-hearted child. And so in those, we just get really kind of down and dirty, if you will, really practical things. And they're not very long. We make a point to not make our podcast very long. We're not the 2-hour podcast people. We're more like the 25-minute people.
Exactly.
So we want to get you.
That's about all the time we have before our children need us, right?
That's right. Exactly. So go back and look at the Crazy Cool Parent. How do you crazy cool parent this? And look at the different topics. It's not one. It's scattered throughout the year, but you'll see some things that will catch your interest.
Absolutely. And so another thing that we did this year is we had a few guests on. Is there any guests that you really enjoyed podcasting with?
Yeah, one of them is a great relationship I have with one of my friends, Chris Harper. He runs Better Man Ministries, great ministry for a men's ministry. Did you know that 80% of churches have women's ministries? You know how many have men's ministries? Guess.
How many?
Guess.
10.
7, exactly.
Under 10%.
Under 10% have men's ministries, and that's what Better Man does. Is they go and put in a men's ministry for them. But Chris Harper and they do.
You think that's because men don't like church?
Well, there's.
You think they don't like God?
So many. Well, I think it's
they don't
because
like family?
church is designed towards women in a lot of ways. But but that's
relational.
a whole other deal. Yeah. But anyway, so Chris was one of my favorites. What was one? And that's what was yours?
I don't know. I can't possibly pick a favorite. I would start with all the ones that I got to do with my daughters.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. We started the year off, episode 287. It was actually over my birthday weekend, and we brought a bunch of microphones and we did a podcast with Molly, Madeline, Macy, McKenzie, and then our daughter-in-law, Neely. And so we all sat in a circle and we just talked about all things, and they asked me questions and I asked them questions. And so that one was fun. And then another one, 294, was being in charge versus being in control. And I did that one with Molly. There's one on there.
Our oldest daughter.
Yeah, that's our oldest daughter. And there was one that Madeline actually did on her own, episode 302, A Summer to Remember. And she grabbed one of her friends, Sarah Paul, and she's got 3 kids and she's a school teacher. And they just talked about how do you redeem summer. And so those are some of the ones that I would pick if it came to people that we had. I mean, but Don, honestly, my favorite person to podcast with is you.
We definitely do it a lot for sure. We definitely sit right here in our studio and podcast
and
together.
Record away.
Yes, and record away. One of the things we also did this year that was related to the podcast is we introduced the Playbook, and so the Playbook. If you're not signed up for the Playbook, it's just a daily email, and then we encourage you to go through our material. It's really kind of a self-guided teaching system that's electronic through email and through our website and through the materials that we have. So you can go to our website, crazycoolfamily.com, sign up for it on the homepage. But we introduced that this May in order to better connect. And what we find with parents is, and every parent agrees with this, is that you don't learn parenting in a weekend. You learn parenting over months and years.
Right.
And so what we've designed the Playbook to be is just a little drip into your life, every day. You read it when you can. And then we invite you through our materials and through some things like we introduced what's called a deep dive. Yeah. And a deep dive is you can buy them for like $4, and they're just a deeper dive, exactly what they say, into a topic that's relevant. And so what were some of the deep dives?
Yeah, exactly. And so I just want you to know that we thought about it. We prayed about it. We talked to moms and dads about what is a topic that they would be interested in. The first one out of the chute, because it happened to be the spring, was Easter, how to do Easter well, how to bring, Jesus. I mean, obviously Easter is all about Jesus, but sometimes we get caught up in the Easter egg part of it. And so we did a deep dive on Easter.
Just forget about Jesus.
Yeah. And then after we did that, we went really, really deep, and we talked about parent guilt and how that is a thing. And we talked specifically about, moms and dads and how they feel guilty in different ways. And so if that's an area that you maybe missed that deep dive and you need to be ministered to, I encourage you to go back.
Yeah, you can find those deep dives. We released them all throughout the year. And then the reason we bring it up in the podcast is because we did some podcasts around them as well. But you can find all the deep dives in our shop. So just go to crazycoolfamily.com and go into the shop place, and you will then find in our store all the deep dives, as well as our, we also encourage you to get our family bundle in there, because the Playbook, every month we go through a session in our guides. And so you buy the family bundle, it has our 2 guides, it has our Crazy Cool Family book. We ship it right to your door, and then you can go through that with your spouse every month. And like I said, we drip into you. One month it's going to be the parent to kid relationship. Another month it's going to be how to create a safe haven in your home. Another month it's going to be on discipline. And over time, we will promise you, we've seen it happen thousands of times now. People, their family changes. I was literally, I was talking to a mom the other day, and she said that she's just been doing the one thing, just encouraging. That's it. Just starting to encourage. And her mom flew in from out of state. And, she's been trying it for a few months. And her mom's not a believer, but her mom said, there is something different going on in this house. There's something different. And she's, well, of course there is. That's what the wife said. We've been encouraging our kids, and it's building them up, and it's making them happier and all the things. If you will do some of these things in here, if you'll do just a little bit of work, parents, you'll find great results in it.
Yep.
And all those deep dives are available in our shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that just to highlight one, we talked about teaching your kids how to fight well with their siblings. And that is just one of the topics that we always talk about at Crazy Cool Family, that siblings can and should be best friends. And so we also did a podcast on that, episode 304, teaching your kids to fight. And so
what is the rest of that? What are we doing?
Right. And so I really do just want to invite you, and Dawn had already said it, but to go to crazycoolfamily.com, go to our shop, see these deep dives, go to our podcasts and do a deep dive. Listen to the podcast that's connected to the deep dive, and then read the deep dive and change your family. And it's just to explain that the deep dive is basically a PDF that you download and that you can print if you want to, or just look at it. And it's full of ideas, all sorts of things that you can implement. Now, do you have to implement them all? Absolutely not. You'll actually be overwhelmed if you implement them all. But I promise you, there will be one or two things, just like the mom that Dawn was talking about, to encourage extravagantly. That's what she took. And so if the Lord is stirring up something in you that needs to change in your family, go see if we've done a deep dive on it. And if we have not, please send us an email at info@crazycoolfamily.com and say, I would love to have a deep dive on this. And our team will go after that.
In the deep dives, there's also little pages you can print out and put on your refrigerator and things like that. There's different little encouragement. There's different exercises you can do. So it really that, I didn't write them so I can brag on them. Our staff has really done a great job of putting them together, and really excited about introducing those this year. There's so many. We have so much more materials and content for you, and it's delivered so much more consistently than ever before through the Playbook, and then we're having our podcast support them. So not only did we introduce the Crazy Cool Parent This, keep doing our guests, but we also started to do podcasts around those deep dives and encouraging you to go in and get them. One of my other favorite podcasts is, and it also relates to something that we've introduced in Crazy Cool Family this year, was on podcast 312, The Power of Missions. Our good friend Chris Searcy was with us, and who's been on, no telling, hundreds of mission trips.
Absolutely.
And taken literally thousands of kids on mission trips. And so we interviewed him. I thought it was a great, the purpose of the podcast was to introduce parents to mission trips.
And to the idea to going on it as a family, or to sending your kids. And what's really cool about that is that back in September, Don and I actually got to go on a mission trip that Chris, I don't know if you spearheaded it, but he was behind it. So we got to go to Africa with him. And what we got to do in Africa was partner with a ministry called Eden Missions. And we actually got to teach the trainers in this ministry how to crazy cool parent, so that they can now go teach, because they teach dozens and dozens of classes throughout the year. And so
even hundreds, and with connecting with literally hundreds and thousands of churches throughout the year, all through Uganda and Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Tanzania. And so, that's one of the things we talk about, especially at year end with Crazy Cool Family, is, we're a 501c3 ministry. We do this, really is something that we have to support with donations. And so if that's something that, and some people really do love supporting, maybe Africa's on your heart. We use it as a model. What we did was we partnered with them. We took their curriculum, and then Suzanne did, I can't say we, because Suzanne did most of the work, that partnered with them to adapt our crazy, because we had to adapt it into the African culture. We write for Americans and for Western people, but we took it and adapted it with their curriculum so that now, and then we're training them how to teach it, to put it in. So Suzanne and I can't go to Africa 5 times a year to go teach it. So their people will teach it. And it was a real win for that ministry, and just a real win for those countries in Africa, but also a win for Crazy Cool Family, because we're developing ways to reach the world with this ministry. So if that interests you, and you're somebody who loves to give to organizations that are making an impact, we would love for you to join us. You just go to crazycoolfamily.com and go to donate, and you can do an annual, just an end of year gift, or a lot of people sign up and become part of our monthly or annual army of givers, and we're super appreciative of that. Just know it's going to a great cause as we use all those funds to go out and change families around the world.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we're just so grateful that God has opened those doors, and we put some of that credit back to you, because as you've prayed for Crazy Cool Family, and as you've supported Crazy Cool Family, and as you've listened to our podcast, and as you shared the word about Crazy Cool Family, it's getting around. And what's so cool is somebody said to Don a while back, what would it look like if we had 1 million Crazy Cool Families across the world? What would that look like? And slowly but surely, we're getting that number. Year by year, we're adding to that number.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy cool. The donations that we get, and the even the buying of the deep dives, or the buying of the family bundles, all that helps us to support the ministry. And from that, we get orders literally all over the country,
I know, it's so fun. Don's like a little boy when he gets an order. He comes up and, oh my goodness, we just got one from Missouri. We don't even know anybody in Missouri. There's some Ohio and Nebraska.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, you just don't know how people. I even called a guy one time. I said, how in the world did you hear about us? He's in Montana. And he's like, well, I just, a friend of a friend did this, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like.
Shared on social media. That's a huge thing you can do, along with your prayers. If you'll share, anything and everything that's, interesting and valuable to you, then it changes some algorithm, and it does something. And I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe you do. But the next thing you know, we've got people coming out of the woodwork because somebody said something through social media.
As well as just getting your friends to sign up. If you're not signed up for the Playbook, getting signed up for that and inviting your friends to do it. It really does. Like if 2 or 3 of you, we find a lot of times 2 or 3 families will sign up together, and then they're able to talk about it. Hey, in their small groups or whatever, it becomes, they may or may not do our curriculum as a small group. Maybe they do. That happens as well. But in the small groups, they're like, hey, we read this in Crazy Cool Family this week, or the deep dives on this week. And again, the goal, parents, of our podcast and all this is that we drip a little content into you, and then you're able to take that content and practice it. For example, most of it's super simple. Jesus is a super simple guy, and it'll be like, hey, learn how to listen better. But then you go practice listening over and over and over again, and then we give you some techniques to listen better and all the things. But it really is pretty simple stuff. But when you get it dripped into you consistently, you're like, and then you look back over a year or two, you're like, wow, real change has happened in our home.
Okay, so we've done a hard sell for a long time. Let's give these people a nugget, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. What's the one thing you would tell parents about investing in family as we, wrap up this year, we head into Christmas? What's the one thing that they can do to invest in the parent-to-kid and the kid-to-kid relationship line?
Oh, you mean just one technique or one concept?
One idea, one.
What I would say
is to sign up for the Playbook. No.
What'd you
yes,
say?
But go on.
Well, what I would say is one of them is just to notice your child. Is so often life is so busy and kids are an inconvenience, and we don't notice our child. You will go so far in it'll help them obey. A noticed child, someone who is seen, known, and loved, is going to be more responsive to you than a child who is not noticed.
Yeah.
How do you notice them? Get down on their level. Hey, man, what's going on, Tiger? How you doing? You know, what's so happening? Good. You know, I mean, tell me about something that happened at school. Well, nothing happened. Oh, really? Nothing happened. Okay.
Tell me more about that.
I bet you can tell me. Yeah. You know, did you play today? Well, yeah, we played. Well, what did you play? And all of a sudden you get over that hurdle. Maybe they're not used to having you notice them. And all of a sudden they start talking and talking and talking and talking. And all of a sudden you're like, where did this child come from?
Yes.
Just notice your child.
I love that.
What's yours?
Okay. There's about a billion, but the one that comes to mind is Madeline and I were talking the other day, and she said, Mom, everywhere I go, Madeline's got 4 children, 6, 5, 3, 1.
2.
No, Callie has just one.
Yeah, Callie's one.
And Juliet turned 3. So she's got these 4 little kids, and they're all these blonde-haired, blue-eyed, full of energy, just demand, attention, from everywhere. So everywhere she goes, people notice her. And they say all the time, she said, Mom, everywhere I go, people say to her, oh, enjoy it. Oh, it goes so fast. It goes so fast. Like, take your time and enjoy it. And she said, Mom, I'm up to my eyeballs and enjoying it. She goes, how do I do that? Like she goes, from your perspective, Mom, now that we sent our last child off to college this year at the beginning of this, in the fall. And so we've had this empty nest for months now, and we're still not sure what we think about it. And so she said, so you're already there. You're on the other side of it. You're done. What would you say to me, who's in the middle of it, that everybody keeps saying, it goes so fast. It goes so fast. And so I thought about it for a little while because I'm an internal processor. It's probably 3 days, and I got back to her and I said, okay, Madeline, I feel like the answer is to go along with what you said, Dawn, is to pay attention to the kid, to notice the kid. I think that's part of it. And the other part is to be present, be in the moment. And I think so many times as a busy mom, we're so distracted. I know that I was. And so now looking back, I can go back, and the moments that I remember are the moments that I chose to be present. All the other moments I don't remember. I don't remember the busyness. I remember that it was busy, but I don't remember the busyness of that moment. But when I stopped and paid attention, I remember yelling at him because it was a mess. I remember sitting down at the whitewashed dinner table that we had, and then the brown table with the metal chairs. And now we have a picnic table, that's a dark wood picnic table. I remember
it's more than a picnic table.
It's a bench. It has benches though. And so that's what I would say. The one thing to go along with Dawn's thing is to see the child and to stop and be present in the moment. Just stop while you're fixing dinner. Just stop for a second and look around. And notice your children and where they are. And one's wearing pajamas, and one doesn't have any clothes on at all. And one just made a mess on the floor, and one is screaming at you. Just stop and notice it, because when you do that, it makes time stand still for just a second.
Yeah, it's Christmas. You might have thought she said buy presents, but she said no. She said be present. And so, but
clever.
That's not. That wasn't
clever.
That wasn't.
You are going to have to buy presents, but and so Christmas is the best time to be present. Like, there are tons of memories that we have about Christmas because we did stop. We wanted to enjoy the investment of the thousands of dollars that we just spent on all their presents.
You got to be grateful. You better be grateful, kid. Spent all this money
on stuff. And so anyway.
But sometimes that's the hardest time because it's so busy.
So busy.
So, you were trying to buy presents for 7 kids. You had your spreadsheet out. It was just, I still am amazed at that it all went so well. And I did very little in that project. So, but, there are ways, what are you going to do to notice, usually God is, our pastor calls it opposite theology, that when we're busy, slow down.
Yeah.
When you feel angry, forgive. When you, all the things.
Things are chaotic, find order.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so one of the things is when things are running at you so fast, just slow down and notice. It doesn't take a long time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, and sometimes those times can be bedtime. They can be in the car. Mm-hmm. What if when you're in the car in December, you just kind of turn the music off and just talk a little bit, or you don't let your brain run over all the things you have to do when you're in the car. That's the one time when I'm in the car with my kids, I'm going to be present or whatever that is. And I don't know what your technique is. I don't know what your, but little hack will be, but just be open to it. I think that will help you create memories because let's face it, when you got 4 kids like Madeline does and they're 6, 5, 3, and 1, she is busy. It is, it is a chaotic mess. And so it's there. So, but it's there for everybody. So what are you going to do that's different?
Yeah. And so what's fun about that is that kids are hilarious. And so if you'll just pay attention to them for a minute and you'll give them a minute or 2 of your time, you're going to be well rewarded because their perspective on life and the way they say things is absolutely hilarious. And we're getting to enjoy that now on the back end as grandparents when we give them when we FaceTime them and they just are, we give them the minute, we give them the face-to-face time and we see them and they talk to us and they're so funny. Yeah, and so right. I just want to encourage you that you will be rewarded when you take the time to notice your child and be present with them.
And so as we wrap up 2025, we also want to alert you to look out, join the playbook, because in 2026, you're going to see even better stuff come from Crazy Cool Family. We're just kind of obsessed in a way with helping you. And I mean, and whether that, I don't know if that's freaky or not, but I mean, it's like we just have this real passion. And I know why, because God gave us a special gift and we just feel like we want to give that gift to everybody. When the Lord is good to you, you want him to be good to everyone. Yeah. And so we're going to be coming out with some new stuff in 2026. We're going to expand what we do, but with the same concept. And what as we end 2025, if I leave you with anything, it is that you learn family one little step at a time. Get with us and other resources and be a learner, learn along the way, let it drip into you so then you can go have things to practice. And over time, you're going to improve your parenting game. I was just talking to a guy today and he's a very successful businessman. And I was explaining to him kind of what we're doing with Crazy Cool Family. And he just said, my wife and I are pretty good parents, but we really don't pursue educating ourselves. We really don't pursue learning more. He said, I can use what you're doing and I don't. He knows about us and he knows what we're doing. And I said, you're right, dude. That's what we see all over the place. And then those parents look up 10 years from now when their kids are teenagers and they're like, man, and we hear this all the time, I wish I would have been more serious about learning the things that I want to learn now that I didn't learn then.
Right.
So my challenge to you parents is do it now.
Absolutely. It's never too late to start.
And literally it's like 5 minutes a day. It's like an hour a week. It's a few hours a month. And following what we do, it's $4 for a deep dive or $45 for a family bundle or whatever it is. It's not a huge investment, and you will see a big difference as you start to do some things consistently. So that's my challenge to you for 2026. And we hope you have a great holiday season 2025. Wrapping it up, we hope your Christmas, New Year's are amazing, and we will see you in January. Suzanne, you got anything last words to add?
No, I was just after you closed, I was going to say Merry Christmas, but I'll say it now. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year. And as always, go be crazy, parents. crazycoolfamily.com.